Hi, so it's week 3, and we're gonna do our discussions. So, the first one question is any important information from this week's reading, including the web article about learning based goals. So, there are people that are learning based goal oriented. That's how they prefer to be, um, having goals and learning through them, but they still take feedback, even negative feedback that is constructive. They don't like it, and I feel like it's all dependent on the person and how they perceive the feedback. Some people might be like, okay, like I probably don't like the feedback that I'm getting, but I'm still gonna do something about it. Or they'll take the feedback and just lose motivation. I feel like it all depends on the person themselves. I don't feel like just because they are more goal oriented and like learning through that they're going to 100% always be happy about what they're being criticized for, if that makes sense. I know for me, the way I learn, I'm more goal based oriented, but it all depends how the criticism is delivered, I feel, as well. And then when it came to the comparison for online and traditional performance appraisals, I found it really interesting that companies would want to do it online, just because you lose that that connection of speaking about it, having a discussion. Maybe there's a misunderstanding with the appraisal. Um, and my thing is that how would that work doing an appraisal online? Like, is everything already going to be done? Like, they're already going to be like evaluating you and checking on you, and then everything is going to be on a computer and a person just signs off. Usually when a manager does like an evaluation, there'll be comments, concerns, and like they'll sign off and they'll have a discussion or something. So if it's all online, is there not going to be a discussion at all? From what I know, like I've had numerous like evals, and usually they're like a day that they like sit there and evaluate you, and then a week later they'll like go over the performance and ask you have any discrepancies, anything else that needs to be done. I don't feel like it's going to be the same if everything's online. I understand it's efficient, but I also feel like it's going to discourage employees from actually taking the criticism. Really, like, it's whatever. They really don't care if it's all going to be online and there's nothing personal about it. And then the second question was, how is performance appraisal done at your job currently? So my job has 5 categories. It's knowledge of the job, interaction with coworkers and customers, areas of improvement and continuous learning, judgment and decision making and organizational skills, and each one is from 1 to 5 scale. 3 is the average, 5 is the best you can possibly do, and 1 is the worst. You usually have additional comments of what you've done well and what you might need improved. This goes from training all the way until you get on your sales team. You need a 3 to be put on a sales team, and usually they say the best you can do to get on a sales team is a 4. To get a 4, no one ever gets a 5. I guess no one can be that perfect because everyone needs to keep learning. Some critiques on the method that I have is, when we start our job, they tell us from the beginning how we're going to be evaluated from the moment we get trained to the moment we get put permanently on a team, which I think just helps because you know what you're doing right, know what you're doing wrong. We get put on a grace period, 3-month grace period of, are you picking up the material? Do you know what you're doing? Since it's sales and I do a lot of tech stuff, tech is always improving, always moving forward. So if I can't pick up the new material, then that's when I would be given a lower score, and usually that's when certain things need to be done. I think it helps down the road to know what you should be focused on and what you should not be focused on when it comes to your work, because it's moving, it's changing all the time, and you really never honestly know how good you're doing until you get that first eval. So it is a little intimidating, I feel like, the evaluations. The first eval that you get put in is with 4 people. It's like a mentor, your teacher, and 2 other senior managers. So 4 people criticizing you and telling you what you're doing right and you're doing wrong feels like a lot. It feels very intimidating. So if anything, I think it should be the manager that the current manager, and then the mentor that you have. Just imagine 4 people telling you you're doing this, this, and this wrong. You need to make that better. And then they're not going to tell you that many things that you're doing right. They do, but they don't. I feel like it's like too much. It puts too much pressure, and then it gets discouraging. And then another thing is that once you get placed on your team, after that you don't get an eval until a year later from the time you get placed on a team. I think it should be a transition period until your 1 year where you're still getting evals to know what you're doing right and when you're doing wrong. At the moment, I've been on my company for 6 months, and on my team for those 6 months, I think I've been on it for like 3, and I haven't gotten an eval. So I'm honestly, when I'm doing stuff, I honestly don't always know if I'm doing it correctly, if I'm doing it wrong, if like I'm well suited for my team, so I should be on a different team or anything like that. I feel it's just better if like before the 1 year hits that you're still getting eval, because you're so used to it from when you start training. You get an eval each month. I feel like it's well served to still get one at least every 3 months. That means you'll get an eval, well, maybe not every 3 months, maybe every 2 months to get a few in for the 1 year. But I think that is helpful just so you know where you stand on the team, and like if there is things you need to improve, you need to like double check. So I have a sales job, so it like varies all the time on what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done. So that is it. Until next time.